Hello everyone, welcome to Driving Production. In this episode, we're going to be installing some fog lights.
We'll be going from this to this.
So the reason I wanted to do fog lights is just to give a little bit more style to the front end of the car, update the look a little bit, and get at the same time a little bit more lighting in the front. When I was looking online for fog light kits for the Mazda 3, I was looking, I did find quite a few that were bolt-on and had all the hardware included, including the housing, the plastic trim like this one, with the hole already done and everything. But the thing that kind of turned me away was actually the price for them. I thought for fog lights it was pretty expensive. They were running around 160 or 170 Canadian. So I thought I could try to make one myself with some used parts. This I think cost me around 10 bucks for both at the junkyard. I think these were a few bucks for the plastic trim. So all in all, it's pretty cheap. I had a set of bulbs, and then I got some wiring off Amazon for 10 or 15 bucks. So all in all, it's way cheaper than buying the full kit. So these fog lights actually came off a Mazda RX-8. But when I was taking them off the car at the junkyard, I actually took a look at the code that was on them, and I found out that from the CX-7 and Mazda 6 that were also in the junkyard, it was actually the same fog light housing. So this is what you're going to need to do this fog light install. Now this is personal. If you want your fog lights to be yellow, I'm going to do so by adding some yellow film. Again, this is not necessary, but a Dremel will definitely help doing the holes and making them nice and clean. If you don't have access to a Dremel, you could probably do the same thing with a drill, since it's a very soft plastic. From there we have the wiring that plugs into the bulb, and then this after that is the little adapter that's just gonna crimp on top of the existing headlight harness. I got this, this is polyurethane sealant, and then you'll need some scissors and a pen or marker or something just to write, and from there we have some paint, and you also need some bulbs to connect to the harness, and that's it. So first thing you want to do is to trace a line around the fog lights, and then you can go ahead and cut it with the scissors. Once your cardboard is cut out, you can just put it on top of the plastic trim, and then from there you just want to make sure to measure it correctly so it's not off-centered.
With the location marked down, I'm making a hole in the plastic with the Dremel. Then I'm cleaning up the edges for the fog light housing.
So as you can see, I just finished doing the hole for the fog light housing. So before I actually put and glue the housing to the plastic, I just wanted to paint the plastic gloss black. So I just wanted to add a bit of aesthetic look to the plastic trim while I was at it. So I'm just going to go ahead and go and paint that.
After cleaning the plastic trim, I'm drying them and applying 2 coats of paint and 1 coat of clear.
Alright guys, so it's been actually a few days since we painted the plastic trim, and I gotta say I'm really excited to put them on the car. It looks really nice. Just take a look at how they look. So as you can see, the gloss black came out really nice. The shine pops really nice. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they look on the car. But before we continue installing them, when I went to the junkyard and I got those plastic trim, I actually picked up a whole front grille from another Mazda 3 there. And I was actually thinking of doing the same thing. So I wanted to paint the OEM grille gloss black like I did on the plastic trim. So let's go and do that, and then we'll install everything when it's done.
Same as for the plastic trim, I'm cleaning the grille with the greaser, but I'm also sanding the flat surface for this one. Where I got the idea of doing this mod is from looking at pictures of the GT model, where I saw the grille came painted gloss black from the factory. Again, like the trim, I'm applying 2 coats of paint and 1 clear coat.
Alright, so while we're waiting for the first coat of paint to dry on the front grille, let's install the fog light housing in the plastic trim.
Here I'm just double checking to make sure the housing fits properly into the trim. Then I'm applying a coat of polyurethane sealant around the fog light housing and gluing it to the plastic trim, making sure it's level and centered. While I'm waiting for the sealant and front grille to dry, I'm washing the car, taking advantage of the nicer weather.
So the car's all washed, it's all nice and clean. It's finally nice to be outside, to be able to enjoy the warmer weather. Since it's getting warmer out, I finally got the summer tires and wheels on the car. So this is what they look like.
These wheels are surprisingly off a Kia Sportage. Since it's off an SUV, it has a bit more aggressive offset at plus 40. With the polyurethane sealant now dry, I'm wrapping the housing with yellow vinyl. This is what they look like finished.
So it's been about a week since I painted the front grille and the trim for the fog lights. So everything's dry and ready to install. So that's all that's left to do. So let's get right into it and install them on the car.
First thing I'm doing is putting the car on ramps, so I'll have access to the under tray later. Now, I'm removing all 6 plastic clips and 2 metal bolts holding the top of the bumper. Having those removed, I'm moving to the wheel well, where there's 3 plastic screws and 1 Torx T15. Having the wheel turned a bit definitely helps to have access to them. After removing both sides, I'm removing the 9 8mm bolts holding the under tray to the bumper. Now I can remove the bumper. If you're doing this, there is one sensor connected to the passenger plastic trim. You just have to make sure to disconnect it while you remove the bumper. Once the bumper is off, I'm removing the plastic trim and the front grille. And everything is off the bumper. Since I have both plastic trim, I wanted to do a quick side-by-side comparison. Now I'm reinstalling them on the bumper.
Alright guys, so as you can see, I just finished installing the plastic trim with the new fog light housing on the bumper, and I'm really excited. It looks very nice. But you might have also noticed that I painted the crash bar gloss black like I did with the plastic trim. The reason I did that is because I wanted to just try out to see how the car would actually look without a front grille at all. So just with the fog light housing and the trim around them, but with no front grille. So let's take a look on just how it looks and see if it's something that would look cool. So I think it actually looks pretty good without the grille at all. I think it might be a good starting point, maybe to do a custom grille or something. So I think it's pretty interesting that the look come out of it. One other thing that I think maybe annoys me or bothers me a little bit more about the front end, or about the grille, I should say, is that it actually comes out of the bump. So doing that kind of brings the grille inside of the car. So it's actually something that I like. But as far as just leaving it open, I don't think I would actually go that route. But it does look pretty interesting. So for now, let's just put on the painted front grille, and then we'll wire up the fog light. So let's get to it.
The same way I took the grille off the bumper, I'm putting it back on. To get access to the headlight harness, I found the easiest way was to remove the headlights completely, as it's held on by just 3 10mm bolts and a plastic bolt. To wire the fog lights, I'm doing it probably the easiest way you can do it, as I'm just tapping into the headlight harness. With that wired up, I want to make sure it's working by testing it. Then I can reinstall the headlight.
Alright, so everything is wired up for the fog lights. All that's left to do is to reinstall the bumper, plug in the bulb on the new fog light housing, and then that's it.
While reinstalling the bumper, I have to reconnect the sensor in the plastic trim and obviously connect the fog lights.
Alright guys, so everything is done. The harness is all hooked up and the fog lights are working. I'm really excited with the result. This is what it looked like before. And this is what it looks now. So I'm really happy on how it turned out. Overall, I think it's something that everyone can try at home. The longest part was mostly waiting for stuff to dry, like the paint or even the sealant to dry around the fog lights. But apart from that, it was pretty straightforward. And the results, I think, are very nice. It's crazy how much little details can change the look of the car completely. I really hope you've enjoyed the video today. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving a comment below on what you think, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.